This is that 4x4 show. This is also the final episode of the series, and as always, we've decided to do something a little special.
Over the past 3 months, we've taken you far and wide, and also big and small. We traveled from the East Coast to the West Coast in a Subaru XV. Found the amazing desert lions in a Toyota Prado. Made it to the lesser-known Kakonyo Island in Botswana's Magadiagadi Pans in a Photon Tunland, and we drove our Land Rover Discovery 1 V8 Project 4x4 up and over a mountain, to name but a few adventures. We've also tested and featured a host of 4x4s, from massive big-wheeled monsters to the smallest of 4x4s, and from the latest and greatest to some models with some more life experience under the belt. But this is the last episode in the current series, so we needed to go out with a little bit of a bang.
And that is why we've come to the Waterfall Safari Lodge in Mpumalanga. We're revealing one project car, we're revealing another one, a special one this time, that we're going to be putting through a tough 4x4 course with judges. We're going to be going through some highlights and some lowlights, maybe where Mbeni is getting stuck. But for now, a little Toyota.
Using a pre-owned Fortuner 3-litre D4D as a base, a lot of new development work had to be done before the world's first 33-inch trucking company Fortuner could be put together. A big challenge proved to be the wheel arches that had to be extended to accommodate the new 33-inch Cooper Discoverer STT Max tyres. A full TJM Gold suspension upgrade resulted in a 50mm lift, as well as increased wheel travel. The cabin features a top-quality alu-cab drawer system and fridge slide, which adds some practical overland qualities to the deal.
After months and months of development, this is it, a 33-inch conversion built by the four-wheel drive trucking company out in Pretoria. It's not the 35-inch that we used to on the Arctic trucks. Boy, she good. Looks nice, eh? Yo, sexy.
It's a bit of a motoring Cinderella story, this Fortuner. It all started off as a stock standard Fortuner in the you can have it any color as long as it's white kit, with just over 100,000 kilometers on the clock. And within a few months, it has been turned into something different, something spectacular, and something extremely capable. Thing is, we reckon the proportions are just right. 35-inch wheels and the Toyota's shorter wheelbase would have seemed a bit much, but the 33-inch wheels and the new Cooper tires look, well, just the ticket. So the whole package of relatively discreet wheel arches, the raised suspension, the roof rack and new bumpers, and the black-white finish, it all just blends together rather splendidly. The bigger 33-inch wheels do have a small influence on gear ratios, but it's so minimal you'd hardly notice it. This is largely thanks to the legendary 3-litre turbo diesel engine, which may not make the most horsepower anymore, but it delivers the good stuff right where it's needed. The good stuff is torque, and the engine had plenty of lugging power at lower revs. And once you hook low range on the permanently four-wheel driven Fortuner and engage the rear differential lock, very few obstacles will stop this Toyota. With a vastly improved approach and departure angles and the extra clearance afforded by the bigger wheels and upgraded suspension, the Fortuner sails up the mountain, no worries. The basic 33-inch conversion will set you back 120,000 Rand. And if you want all the extra bells and whistles like the replacement bars and winches and whatnot, you'd be looking at around 180,000 Rand. This is no small change, of course, but there is actually plenty more to this conversion than just adding an aftermarket suspension, bigger wheels and new wheel arches, in case you are wondering. On that rhetorical note, time for a bit of reflection.
Now that I'm thinking, this now brings me to the fun part of the show. Behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't get to see at home. Because on Bernie, he never makes mistakes.
Discovery 1 V8 Spare. We head out and go and drive a terrible trail. I hope you didn't get that on camera. And we also test the Land Rover. Bad in road condition, use at your own risk. Sidekick Mr. T, the crazy soccer fool, and head off to these. It's not unusual. Earlier in the program, this fly. Hardy-Dars suffer of a fear of flights. I'm going to demonstrate to you why. They only scream when they take off. Check this. Go, 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 go.
Honestly speaking, I never make mistakes. I'm the perfect one.
Okay, so you enjoy pigs. We're driving, now we're no more driving. Now for a flacy and a dopey, and that's it.
In this week's episode of That 4x4 Show, we look at 4x4 shows. No. Oh, just in case you're not into the Toyota, you're not into the Samurai, you might want to be in the Samurai. Nice! Hi, girls. Surprisingly, Atlantic Ocean. My frozen toes are frozen. So yeah, if you... Okay, that was my twin. It wasn't me. And then there's Gary Swimmer. He makes lots of mistakes, but he'll be joining us later.
Don't confuse me now. Hang on, I had something. Well, we can't find, yeah. Suspension lift, we've given it. We all, no.
We're back at the Waterfall Safari Lodge, just a rock's throw from Loskop Dam. It is part of the Forever Resorts portfolio, but it offers a more relaxed and exclusive destination option in the Loskop area. Set in the Kranspoort Mountains, the lodge offers the option of self-catering accommodation or rustic camping, with only a few stands available for a more off-road orientated rig. Other attractions include the waterfall in Waterfall Safari Lodge, as well as the 4x4 trail. Described as a grade 5 trail, the 6-kilometer long track runs up and down the Kranspoort Mountains with some spectacular viewpoints along the way. In the Jeep, with all its 4x4 ability, it's not nearly as dramatic as it would be in a run-of-the-mill stock standard 4x4. If you want more info on Waterfall Safari Lodge, check out our Facebook page. In the meantime, back in the Wrangler cabin.
I must be honest, Mr. T, I don't think we're going to get stuck on this route.
You know what? Speaking about getting stuck, Gary, don't you have some shots on Bernie getting stuck?
Bernie getting stuck?
Yeah, I'm
he
sure
was
you've got
the
some.
perfect.
I'm sure you got something of him.
I've managed to hang the Ruby up nice and proper. Now I'm lying. In actual fact, we're just testing the recovery speed of Atsagat.
That was interesting.
Nah, even more interesting. Isn't there a story I heard about you in a Wagen?
Doing what?
Getting stuck, of course.
I never get stuck.
Sure, I'm sure you don't.
Is moshi hier. I don't know where you got that footage, but that was definitely not me in that G-Wagon. But
If you say so, say so.
But talking about getting stuck and difficulty, tell me about your sandy situation.
No, we had gone down to the beach and then it was just a lovely outing, you know, with family, you know, that type of stuff.
Well, let's take a look. Yeah, I've got something for you.
And now lock it, full lock.
Locked.
And swing back. And go. Past this one, no, past that one, put it that way.
But you know what? I've just thought of something now. Isn't there another vehicle also to show off?
There is actually, yeah, the Subaru XV.
That's the one in your workshop, right?
That's the one, yes, the crossover.
Cool. So here's
You
the
need to go
Subaru.
have a look at that thing. See what it
Yes.
turned out.
Yes. So here's the XV.
It all started earlier this year when we drove the Subaru XV Lineartronic CVT across South Africa. Back then, we noted a few points that could possibly be improved for gravel road and 4x4 driving. With a claimed 220mm of ground clearance and Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system that works really well in off-road conditions, the feisty little XV can actually do some hard labor. Nevertheless, with the help of the lads at the 4-wheel drive trucking company, we decided to up the XV's off-road ante even more. The standard 17-inch alloy wheels and low-profile tires certainly look the flashy part, but on a rough dirt road, they are not so happy. So after some size challenges, we eventually sourced some 16-inch steel wheels from Subaru, and these were shod with Hankook Dynapro ATM all-terrain tires. To fit in with the original black alloy ethos, we took the wheels to Plastidip in Roodepoort, where the rims received a new coat of Plastidip's spray-on plastic coating. Besides saving costs and protecting the rims from dings and scratches, Plastidip can simply be peeled off when you don't want it anymore, leaving the surface underneath in a tip-top shape. A nifty front-runner aluminium roof rack with jerry can, water tank, spade and custom bag accessories for extra storage were also fitted. A set of top-notch Lightforce driving lights were also added to the roof rack. Inside the cabin, the standard sound system was replaced with a Casco in-car multimedia system with the latest GPS navigation software. All the upgrades amount to under 30,000 Rand, and it has turned this weekend warrior wannabe into a more realistic overland option that can still reach more than 500 kilometers on a 60-litre tank, which is like driving on air in 4x4 overland terms. On the opposite side of that fuel drinking scale is our Jeep Wrangler. Back to the Waterfall Safari Lodge we go.
Isn't that a waterfall, Gary?
Yeah, it is. Let's go have a look.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
After some reflective moments regarding the Jeep's contribution to the oil baron's wallets at the waterfall, the Jeep continued on its way negotiating a shallow river crossing along the way. Upwards and onwards the Jeep climbed until there was a mountain and a few puny rocks in its way.
Gary, what now?
Wow, maybe we should engage diff locks. What do you think?
No, man. No, not in this beast. I don't think so.
Well, let's give it a shot and see what it does.
Maybe it's about time we put it in low range, eh?
Nah, no worries for the Jeep there. With all the mechanical grip afforded by the impressive wheel articulation, the grip from the Mickey T tyres and the low-down grunt of the V6 engine, the Ruby trucking Jeep easily conquers this section. And remember, the front and rear diff lockers are still on the reserve bench. But the end of the trail is nigh, and you've got to say, it's so worth driving up here for this view.
Lovely sunset, eh, Gary?
Oh, it's just stunning from here. What a beautiful view.
It's almost as if somebody drew it, you know. Anyway, when we got in, the lady said it's supposed to be a grade 5.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, I found this extremely easy. I don't know if it's the Jeep or if it's our fantastic driving skills, but
Maybe we should get some people from outside, you know, the ordinary guy off the street, and then let them drive the car and then give a verdict of it.
I was going to say the same, yeah. Get other people to drive the route with the same car.
And then give a verdict of it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Are you driving?
Let's
I'm
get that
thirsty, man.
sundowner.
I'm thirsty, man.
To find out what average 4x4 enthusiasts really think of the Ruby trucking Jeep, we've invited 3 specimens of the species to Waterfall Safari Lodge. Right, so time for Gary to face the music as he explains all the Jeep's upgrades.
I'm standing here in the front because obviously this is a big talking point.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know what is this. It's not really well known in South Africa, but the purpose of this pipe is to stop the vehicle from rolling over forward on steep descents, and it's got another purpose as well. The second purpose is if you're going to be climbing up a steep cliff embankment, what the guys do is they get the embankment to hit on the rock, and they actually slide along this rock up. The back wheels push the car up till the front wheels can get traction again, and then it pulls the rest of the car up again onto the top. And obviously the third point, it's a conversation piece around the fire.
Karen Eberson is not only a medical doctor that gets to write out fancy prescriptions, she also owns a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon with a 35-inch conversion. And she's not afraid to use it either. She's even conquered the infamous Kwisse Klim at the Mokgatle 4x4 trail in her beloved Jeep. Sean Niemand manufactures roller doors for a living, and he loves Jeeps. He campaigns a cool Jeep TJ in the Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge competition. And he wins more often than not. He also speaks in code when he talks about Jeep accessories, like Stubby, which is really a bull bar.
Look, you can go up for the longer wheel arch as well, the wider.
Tausello is a corporate type, but he also loves the great outdoor. He owns a Toyota Hilux double cab V6 that has been kitted out some, and he uses this as often as possible to head on overland expeditions or to tackle 4x4 trails over weekends. He clearly has a thing for V6 engines too.
It's really easy, you know, and like I said, as you can see, we put a front runner rack on it. This is the new roof rack that actually bolts right through onto the roll bar. So there's no weight on the fiberglass top. You'll also see the pillars come right down and actually gets mounted at the bottom over here, the bottom of the A pillar. So it's really, really strong.
Yeah, I just missed that. You said you had 2 jerry cans on the top.
Yeah, it's 40 litres, yeah.
40 litres. Okay, so with the extra 40 litres, what's the roughage mileage you're going to get on the vehicle?
This is a V6.
Even the talking point, I can't say it on camera.
It doesn't look so bad anymore for me, because that was one thing that put me off a little bit of the aesthetics. But it's a very functional thing. I understand now what it's for.
And it could be a nice tool to use on a taxi drivers too.
Looking at the bull bar and stuff on the vehicle, I've never actually been much of a fan for the stingers and stuff. I know what the functionality are, but seeing this one actually makes the vehicle look very, very nice. It also serves its purpose, so I think they've done a good job with it.
It's a very nicely thought out vehicle, specifically for weekends away. If you love 4x4 driving, roughing it, doing everything you want with it, and also that you have everything with you.
The rear bumper on the vehicle I like as well. The departure angles and stuff are very nice on it, and I like the functionality that you can actually get up on it to get to the roof rack.
If I'm to say something about the Jeep, I can say I'm sold. I've never been a Jeep fan, but then if I'm to change my Hilux for this as is, hell yeah, I would do that.
They've gone for a practical but very usable vehicle, which is very nice. So it's not just a dedicated vehicle to one thing.
Time to burn some petrol then. To give our Joe Soaps a tiny bit of a challenge on this rocky stretch, we asked them to forget about the front and rear lockers. First up is Toyota Mantau, who seems quite content behind the Jeep steering wheel. So how was that, Tao-san?
I can't wipe this smile off my face. It's a monster on the trail. It just makes life easier. It just crawls up and down like nothing I've never driven before. I'm loving it. Shoo.
And here's Doc Karen now for her taste of Ruby trucking. Yep, with the dexterity and precision of a neurosurgeon, she skillfully pilots the Jeep up and down the mountain. So, what's the verdict?
It was a very nice ride, nice and soft suspension, but the engine was roaring very nicely at the back, and very nice to drive without any diff locks on or anything. It's just nice. Also coming down very softly, very nice suspension coming down, easy driving, and it compares very nicely with my own ride.
Sean is next, although this section is not even close to challenging for Sean, who is used to much bigger obstacle. He chooses some tough lines to put the suspension through all its paces, with the lockers still waiting patiently, unused.
Well, I've taken it for a test drive up the mountain. It's a nice little narrow track. Rocky, slippery, but for a vehicle like this, not really much of a challenge. I must just compliment Gary on the suspension setup that he did on this vehicle. It's very, very, very smooth. It's nice and plush. Running up this rocky section here, you don't even actually feel the bumps. So, nice job done on that. With the 35-inch tires, not much standing in its way. So with the Rubicon capability, tires and the setup on the suspension, very nice job done.
So the people liked your Jeep, Gary?
Yes, I was, really blown away. That's what I love, I get so much passion out of it when I create these vehicles, and they not only pretty, but they practical and they really work.
Yes. And that's very capable, yeah.
Seriously capable
Sure.
vehicle. So it was the car.
Being good and not us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Season 3 starting, and we're setting up here. We need to get back so we can build some new cars.
Thanks, man.
Nice to work with you. We're ending on a high.
And that's it for this series. Please visit our Facebook page and give us your feedback.